Your card declines. Not because you don't have money, because something else happened. The cashier looks up. The line behind you grows strangely quiet. You can feel people waiting for an explanation you don't even have. Your hand instinctively reaches for your phone. You open your banking app. The number on the screen makes your heart stop. Not because it's empty, because it's nothing like it used to be. For a moment, you wonder if someone hacked your account. You refresh the screen. Nothing changes. The balance is real. Then your phone rings. It's your younger brother. His voice is calm. Yours isn't. He asks a question you've never been asked before. Can you help, Mom? 10 years ago, that question would have terrified you. Today, it means something completely different. But this story isn't about that moment. It's about everything that happened before it. Because moments like these aren't created overnight. They're built quietly, one decision at a time. And the strange part is, the decision that changed your life didn't feel important when you made it. 10 years earlier, your life looked perfectly normal. You woke up before the sun, hit snooze more times than you admitted, rushed through breakfast, sat in traffic, worked all day, came home exhausted, promised yourself tomorrow would somehow be different. Then tomorrow arrived, looking exactly like yesterday. Your paycheck wasn't terrible. It wasn't amazing either. It was just enough to keep everything moving. Rent, car payment, insurance, groceries, credit card, phone bill, streaming subscriptions you barely used, dinner out because you deserved a break, little purchases that didn't seem expensive. Nothing felt irresponsible. That's what made it dangerous. Financial pressure almost never arrives like a hurricane. It settles into your life like dust. So slowly, you stop noticing it's there. You weren't broke, but you weren't building anything either. Every dollar had somewhere to go before it even reached your account. Every raise disappeared almost as quickly as it arrived. The more you earned, the more your life expanded to consume it. A better apartment. A newer phone. Nicer clothes. Weekend trips. Fancier restaurants. You weren't buying luxury. You were buying the feeling that life was finally improving. But every improvement came with another monthly payment, another obligation, another invisible chain. Then, one afternoon during your lunch break, you scroll through your phone. Another headline. Stock market falls again. Everyone seems to have an opinion. Some people are celebrating because prices are dropping. Others are predicting another financial disaster. Comment sections are full of certainty. You feel none of it. You've never owned a single stock. Investing has always sounded like something wealthy people do. People who already have money. People who don't have to worry about rent. People whose lives seem completely different from yours. You tell yourself the same thing you've been saying for years. I'll start when I make more money. I'll invest after I pay off everything. But life has a habit of moving the finish line. Every time you get closer, it moves again. Months pass. Nothing changes. Then, one evening, you're looking through your bank statements. Not because you want to. Because you have to. Something feels wrong. Your income has increased over the last few years. Your stress has too. That realization sits with you longer than you expected. More money didn't create more freedom. It simply upgraded your lifestyle. You weren't richer. You were just maintaining a more expensive version of the same life. That thought refuses to leave. For days, it follows you. Driving to work. Standing in line for coffee, trying to fall asleep. Finally, you make a decision so small that nobody around you even notices. You're going to invest a little money every single month, not to become rich, not to impress anyone, not to beat the market, just to begin. You choose a simple broad market index fund, nothing exciting, no viral stock tips, no overnight success stories, just ownership. A tiny piece of thousands of businesses. The first automatic investment leaves your account. You stare at the confirmation screen. Honestly, it feels underwhelming. Nothing changes. You still wake up to the same alarm, still drive the same car, still eat lunch at the same desk, still worry about bills. Your friends spend more money on one Friday night than you invest all month. They invite you out. You say no. They laugh. Come on, live a little. You smile. Because they're right. You only live once. Which is exactly why you're finally thinking about the version of yourself who has to live tomorrow. Nobody applauds your decision. Nobody congratulates you. Nobody even knows. That's how almost every life-changing decision begins. Quietly, the first year feels painfully ordinary. Nobody prepares you for that. People love talking about becoming wealthy. Nobody talks about becoming bored. Every month, money leaves your checking account automatically. Some months the market goes up. Other months it falls. Some mornings you wake up feeling smart. Other mornings you wonder if you're paying someone to lose your money. You open the app too often. Refresh again, green numbers, red numbers, green again, red again. Your emotions start following every little movement. One day you're optimistic. The next day you're questioning everything. The news doesn't help. Markets tumble. Recession fears grow. Experts warn of uncertainty. Your coworkers notice the headlines too. I told you investing was risky. I'm waiting until things get safer. I'll start after the market recovers. It sounds reasonable. Until you realize something. They've been saying the same thing for years. Every crash makes them wait. Every recovery convinces them they already missed it. Their strategy isn't patience, it's permanent hesitation. Meanwhile, life keeps happening. The washing machine breaks. Insurance gets more expensive, gas prices rise, groceries somehow cost more every month. A friend buys a luxury SUV, everyone congratulates him, pictures flood social media, perfect smiles, perfect lighting, perfect life. For a moment, you feel behind, like everyone else figured something out that you didn't. Then you remember something. You don't know what their bank account looks like. You only know what their Instagram looks like. There's a difference. A massive one. Slowly, something begins changing inside you. Not your income. Not your investments. Your thinking. You stop asking, can I afford this? Instead you ask, what does this really cost? A $300 impulse purchase isn't just $300 anymore. It's years of future growth. It's ownership you never bought. It's freedom you quietly traded away. Nobody else hears those calculations. But you do. And once you hear them, you can't unhear them. The apartment hasn't changed, the car hasn't changed, your salary hasn't changed very much, but something far more important has. For the first time in your life, some of your money is working for a future version of you instead of disappearing to satisfy the present one. It doesn't feel exciting. It feels invisible. And that's exactly why most people quit before anything remarkable ever happens. Because the hardest part of investing isn't choosing the right stock. It's continuing to believe in a future you can't yet see. You don't realize it at first, but the stock market isn't testing your money. It's testing you. Because anyone can invest when everything is going up. Anyone can feel like a genius when green arrows fill the screen. The real question is, who are you when everything turns red? That answer arrives sooner than you expected. One Tuesday afternoon, your phone rings. It's family. The kind of call that immediately changes the air in the room. Someone needs help. Medical bills. Unexpected repairs. A problem nobody planned for. The details almost don't matter. What matters is the feeling. That familiar knot in your stomach. The one that whispers, you're not ready for this. You sit alone that night. Laptop open. Investment account on the screen. For the first time since you started, you seriously consider selling everything. Not because you want to, Because fear has a way of disguising itself as responsibility. Maybe I should wait until life is stable. Maybe I started too early. Maybe I should just keep cash instead. The thoughts feel logical, almost intelligent. But then another thought quietly interrupts. When has life ever been stable? You think back. There was always something. A broken appliance, a surprise bill, a sick family member, a car repair, a job scare, an unexpected expense. Life never stopped throwing punches. It simply changed where they landed. Then you look at the market. Down again, every headline sounds like the end of the world. Experts fill television screens explaining why this time is different. Friends text each other in panic. Social media becomes a competition over who can predict the next collapse. Some people announce they've sold everything. Others proudly declare they'll never invest again. Fear spreads faster than facts ever could. You stare at your portfolio. Months of gains have disappeared. Years of discipline suddenly feel fragile. The temptation to quit becomes overwhelming. Because now it isn't about numbers, it's about trust. Do you trust the plan, or do you trust today's emotions? Nobody can answer that question for you. You close the app, not because you're ignoring reality, because you've finally learned that reacting and responding are two different things. You keep investing, not confidently, not happily, just consistently. Sometimes courage doesn't feel brave. Sometimes courage looks like doing the boring thing while your emotions scream for action. Months pass. Then something remarkable happens. Nothing, no miracle, no overnight recovery, no life-changing return, just ordinary months. Then another ordinary month. Then another. Until one morning, you open your account. The losses are gone, not all at once. Quietly, almost unnoticed. The market kept moving, just like it always had. And suddenly, you understand something that no chart had ever taught you. The market rewards patience, but only after demanding it. Most people never receive the reward because they leave before the lesson is finished. That realization changes more than your portfolio. It changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to make money. You begin seeing yourself as someone building ownership. And ownership changes the way you look at everything. Around the 5th year, something strange begins happening. Money occupies less space in your mind, not because you have millions, because panic no longer controls every decision. You still work the same job, still wake up early, still pay taxes, still deal with annoying bills. Life hasn't magically become easier, but your relationship with money has. You notice it one morning, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. A notification flashes across the screen. Markets fall sharply amid economic uncertainty. 5 years ago, that headline would have ruined your entire day. Today, you shrug. Take another sip of coffee and continue walking. Not because you stopped caring, because you finally separated today's headlines from tomorrow's future. That calm surprises even you. It wasn't something you learned from a book. It was earned. One automatic investment at a time. One difficult decision at a time. One moment of refusing to panic after another. Then something else begins to change. You start watching people differently. A coworker gets promoted. Everyone celebrates. 6 months later, they're more stressed than ever. The bigger paycheck brought a bigger mortgage, a newer car, private school tuition, luxury vacations they now feel obligated to repeat every year. From the outside, their life looks impressive. From the inside, they're running faster than ever just to stay in the same place. Then there's another coworker, older, quiet, never talks about money, never wears expensive brands, never tries to impress anyone. When rumors of layoffs begin spreading through the office, everyone panics. Except them. Their expression barely changes. Curiosity gets the better of you. During lunch one day, you finally ask, "How are you so calm?" They smile. Not the smile of someone who knows a secret, the smile of someone who learned it the hard way. Then they say something you'll never forget. The goal was never to become rich. They pause. The goal was to become difficult to control. Those words hit harder than any investment return you've ever seen, because suddenly, everything makes sense. Wealth isn't just about buying more. It's about fearing less. It's about waking up without wondering if one bad month will destroy everything you've built. It's about saying no to a toxic boss because your survival no longer depends on pleasing them. It's about helping your family without destroying your own future. It's about making decisions based on values instead of desperation. For the first time, you stop measuring success by income. Income pays today's bills. Ownership builds tomorrow's choices. Those are two completely different games, and most people spend their entire lives playing only one of them. A few months later, you're invited to a housewarming party. The home is stunning. Huge windows. Luxury kitchen. Designer furniture. Every room looks like it belongs in a magazine. Guests can't stop complimenting it. Pictures flood social media before the night is even over. Everything looks perfect. Until you start listening. Your friend excuses themselves 3 different times to answer work calls. They apologize for checking emails during dinner. Someone jokes, "Guess the house owns you now." Everyone laughs, including your friend. But their laugh feels heavy. Later that evening, while helping clean up, they quietly say something you'll remember for years. "Now I just have to keep all of this." The drive home feels different. You aren't jealous anymore. You're thinking. Some people spend their lives buying symbols of freedom, only to lose the freedom they already had. The bigger the lifestyle, the bigger the pressure. The bigger the payments, the fewer the options. Meanwhile, you're still driving the same reliable car. Living below your means. Investing every month. Nobody calls it exciting. Nobody films documentaries about ordinary discipline. But ordinary discipline creates extraordinary endings. Around year 8, people begin asking you questions. Not because you suddenly look wealthy. Because you look calm. A younger coworker asks why market crashes never seem to bother you. A cousin wonders how you're always prepared for unexpected expenses. Friends ask what stock made you all this money. You smile, because they're asking the wrong question. It was never one stock. It was never one year. It was never one lucky decision. It was thousands of ordinary decisions, repeated when nobody was watching. Repeated when nobody cared. Repeated when there was no applause. And without realizing it, you've been preparing for a moment that's much closer than you think, a moment that will force you to discover whether the last 8 years truly changed your life, or simply changed the numbers on a screen. 8 years become 9, 9 quietly become 10, and somewhere along the way, you stop counting. Not because the journey is over, because it has become part of who you are. Investing is no longer something you remember to do. It's something that happens whether you're thinking about it or not. The money leaves your account each month without asking for permission. And for the first time in your adult life, you're building something even while you're busy living. Life, of course, doesn't stop testing you. It never does. The market rises, then falls. The news changes its headline, but not its tone. One month it's inflation, the next it's interest rates, then elections, then global conflicts, then another prediction that the financial world is about to collapse. The voices change. The fear doesn't. Years ago, every headline felt personal. Now it feels familiar. You finally understand something that used to seem impossible. The market isn't emotional. People are. And if you let every emotional headline control your decisions, someone else will always be in control of your future. Then, one rainy afternoon, your phone rings. It's your younger brother. You answer immediately. His voice is steady, but you can hear the exhaustion underneath it. Mom needs help. The roof has been leaking for weeks. A temporary repair isn't enough anymore. The estimate is far beyond what anyone expected. For a brief moment, time freezes. Not because you don't know what to do, because your mind remembers what this moment used to feel like. 10 years ago, this call would have been a financial earthquake. You would have started calculating which bills could be delayed. You would have checked every account you owned. You would have wondered who you could borrow money from. You would have spent sleepless nights trying to solve a problem that didn't fit inside your paycheck. Back then, every emergency became a crisis, not because the problem was always huge, but because your margin for error was so small. Today, you still feel the weight of the moment. Money has never stopped mattering, but fear no longer gets the first vote. You open your banking app, not because you're hoping there's enough, because you've spent 10 years quietly creating options. You transfer the money. No frantic phone calls. No high-interest credit card. No desperate loan application. Just a few taps on a screen. Your brother goes silent for a second. Then he says something that catches you off guard. I didn't know you could do that. Neither did you. At least, not 10 years ago. After the call ends, you sit in complete silence. No celebration. No dramatic music. Just one overwhelming realization. Your investments didn't make you a better son. They gave you the ability to act like the son you always wanted to be. That thought stays with you. Because this was never about beating the market. It was about removing the financial barriers that kept you from living according to your values. Suddenly, every sacrifice begins to make sense. The expensive dinners you skipped, the impulse purchases you walked away from, the market crashes you survived, the months when investing felt pointless, the years when nobody noticed. None of those moments were wasted. They were building this one, a life where emergencies no longer had the power to define your future. Life, as it always does, moved on. A few days later, after work, you stop by a grocery store. Nothing special. Just milk, bread, eggs, a few things for dinner. You walk to the checkout. The cashier scans everything. You tap your card. The machine beeps. Then, nothing, the cashier looks at the screen. I'm sorry, it didn't go through. For one split second, your body reacts before your mind does. Your heart beats faster. Your stomach tightens. Because your body still remembers the old life. The life where a declined card meant panic. The life where one unexpected problem could destroy an entire month. The cashier asks if you'd like to try again. Instead of panicking, you pull out your phone. You open your banking app. And that's the moment from the beginning of this story. The number staring back at you doesn't make your heart race because it's empty. It makes your heart race because it's almost impossible to believe. You refresh the screen. The balance doesn't change. Years of consistent investing. Years of compounding. Years of disciplined decisions. They're all sitting quietly in front of you. Not screaming for attention. Not asking to be admired. Simply existing. Proof that ordinary decisions, repeated long enough, become extraordinary outcomes. The cashier smiles awkwardly. Oh, the card reader lost its connection. Could you tap again? You do. Approved. That's it. The moment is over. The people standing behind you never know what just happened. To them, it was a machine glitch. To you, it was a reminder of the person you used to be. As you walk toward your car, your phone rings again. It's your younger brother. The roof is finished, he says. Mom keeps asking me to thank you. You lean against the car door, close your eyes, and smile. not because you feel rich, because you feel free. Real freedom doesn't arrive the day you buy a mansion. It arrives the day your money stops making every decision for you. It arrives the day you no longer fear opening your banking app. The day an unexpected bill becomes an inconvenience instead of a disaster. The day you can help the people you love without destroying your own future. That kind of wealth doesn't fit inside a luxury car. It doesn't appear in vacation photos. It doesn't need strangers to notice it. Because the greatest luxury isn't looking successful. It's waking up without financial fear controlling your choices. Looking back, you realize something almost everyone gets wrong. People think investing changes your bank account. It does. But that's only the smallest part of the story. The real transformation happens somewhere much quieter. Your confidence compounds. Your patience compounds. Your discipline compounds. Your ability to ignore noise compounds. Your freedom compounds. Long before your portfolio ever catches up. The market didn't simply reward your money. It rewarded the person you became while staying invested. One contribution at a time. 1 month at a time. 1 year at a time. Until the life you once imagined became the life you quietly lived. The next 10 years will pass, whether you invest or not. Time has never asked for your permission. It keeps moving. The only question is this: when your future self looks back on the decisions you're making today, will they thank you? Or will they wish you had started when the opportunity was still in front of you? If this story changed the way you think about money, don't let it become just another video you watched. Let it become the moment you decided your future deserved more than your excuses. Because wealth is rarely built in one extraordinary moment. It's built in thousands of ordinary ones, when nobody is watching. If you enjoyed this kind of cinematic storytelling about money, psychology, discipline, and freedom, subscribe and join us for the next story. Because the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make are usually the quietest.